Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Gaming Night. This is another episode of awesome board games in my collection. I'm hoping I didn't do this one before. I have to start making a checklist, but this was on me and my fiance's top video games list that we did a few years back. If I find the video, I'll put a link in the description for you guys. But me and her did a top 10 board games, and this was, I believe this was my number one and this was her number two, or it could have been the other way around, but I know it was really up there with us. And the game is Rampage. And Rampage is basically a dexterity game where you will play a monster, and you are basically trying to cause terror in the city by destroying buildings, eating meeples, and you have usually get special abilities or a trait. You can pick up buses, vehicles, and you can fling them at other monsters, the other monsters in the game, or the buildings in the game. And it's essentially a sandboxy type game. You have all these meeples here, and each character is going to get a little screen here that you put all the meeples that you eat behind here, and you got these little tokens here for your teeth, and you can eat as many meeples as you have teeth. And then there's this board here. There's different variants. You can play this one where once you filled up the game ends. Like after so many people escape the board. Because basically what happens is when you knock stuff off, anything that falls off the building, the edge of the board, becomes on here. And each of these have different things. Like this one, you'll lose a tooth. And then this one, you'll lose a tooth, and then everyone else will get a free turn. And as you go down, it'll start adding it. Now the other one, there's the other board, and this is depending on the different color meeples that you. So this one is a little more varied here. Like after you get 3 meeples of this blue, this happens. So there's no game in on this one. I tend to like this one where you'll have to be more strategic on not allowing people to fall off the building, but this one's a good one too. So it all depends on which mode, how you want it to end. If you want the game to end by having too many people escape. So basically, if too many people escape, that means they went and got the highly trained people to nuke the city, and escaped, and then they end up sending out the big A-bomb. And you'll have your different colored monster there. They got purple, and you got these. And this is your little disc you'll flick on the board to move around the city. And then you got all these different building tiles, and they're two-sided, so you can randomly put them in there. Now, the only differences are on the roofs. The roofs have different meeple placements. So this one's laying down on there. So there are different positions on the tiles, so that they're not always dead center. So they kind of give that randomness and aesthetic appeal to it. Oops. Ooh. Oh, man. What the freak happened? Oof. I have to re-sleeve those. Wow. So then these are the rubble tiles. Apparently some of the stuff's sticking to it. Sorry about that. So and then you got the stadium. So yeah, you're basically, the meeples are basically the pillars for the game, and then you got the city which you'll be destroying and collecting meeples, and you get every time, and if you clear a tile of all meeples, then you get to claim the board after it's destroyed. So if you basically, you can drop your monster on top of the building, you knock that meeple off, and this collapses. You basically collect the rubble tile. So it's like victory points at the end of the game, and there's so many different variants. And then depending on what your character type you are, you're trying to go for different goals. So in this particular game, you don't want to eat. You want to basically eat a variety of different people. So like you'll want to eat one of each color because you're trying to get sets. So it's, even though you're trying to eat the most people, you get in a longer game you get more points by strategically eating the right colored meeples. And that's the back of the box. Kind of show you what it looks like there, set up and destroyed. And it's a really fun game. You know, it's easy to play with children because, you know, they don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about teaching them all the intricate little strategies, because they'll just have fun, you know, blowing buildings down, dropping their monster on the buildings, knocking them over, picking up vehicles, flicking them off, and just blowing stuff up. It's really fun game. I mean, it's very sandboxy, but there is some strategies to it too. So it's not just, oh, I need to just flick this, destroy that. You want to kind of strategically do it so that you have the best amount of destruction, and then get the right amount of stuff in there. And that'd be nice if they made an expansion for this, but I don't know. They had to change the name of it because the name is basically off of the Rampage arcade game. So now it's Terror and Meeple Cities. I don't know if they made an expansion for this or not, but if they ever did, and I find out, I definitely would pick up an expansion for this. But I also had some gameplay, I think, of it in my channel somewhere as well. If I find that, I'll link it in the description below. I also know that Watch It Played, I believe, did a gameplay of this one as well. So you guys can watch that as well. So you guys can get a gist of how the game is, but it's very fun. Very quick. It says half an hour on the box, and that's about right. Your first play might be a little bit longer, but that's about right, because the board itself, you're eventually going to destroy everything. Especially get one lucky hit, you can knock one building over, which not cause another building to fall over. So the game heats up quickly. And especially if you're not careful, you're not careful, and you end up getting meeples that you fly off the board on that one setup. So you end up having it like getting the end condition pretty quickly if you're not careful. So yeah, the game can ramp up pretty quickly. I'd say for your first game, it'd probably be about 45 minutes to about an hour for your first game. Because I'd say, because the setup is, the game time play is about 30 minutes, but you've got the setup, which takes a few minutes to set it up. But if you have everybody helping out setting up the board, it doesn't take as long. It's more or less putting all the meeples on all the spots, putting the building tiles up, stacking them up, the certain amount of layers you're supposed to put. But once you get it all set up, it's pretty quick, because you're just randomly picking meeples and putting them on the building. So every gameplay is gonna be different, because the top tile is gonna be different. The orientation of all the meeples, you're not gonna have the same colored meeples in all the little in the certain buildings. So you're gonna have a different setup each time you play. You're gonna get a different special ability for your character, special secret power for your character. So there's a lot of variety, a lot of replayability, which is why this game hits our table quite a bit. I mean, we'll at least get it out maybe 2 to 3 times a year, and then it's a lot of fun. So, and once again, thanks for watching. See you next time.